Welcome back to Maxell TV, everybody. This is McNuggets, and today I'm going to be showing you the decks I built from the Foundations starter kit, commander bundle thing, and the Avatar Last Airbender commander bundle, and the other two or three decks that are for sale on my eBay site. Because what I do is I play Commander, I play EDH, and I build decks to sell on the side. So this was from the Foundations sort of commander bundle kit that you could buy. They retail for like $60, something like that, $65. And we opened a box. We opened it a few weeks ago. And I said, okay, well, let me see, because it came with special like commander cards. It had like a foil command tower and a foil soul ring and a foil arcane signet. I thought, oh, that's very cool. So let's use the cards specifically from the box that we opened, like the cards that they give you, and see if we could build a playable, fun deck. So this one is basically bracket 2. I wanted to do like a dragon engine. I think it was Ramos dragon engine. Like it gave you the whole gate package so you could play Maze's End, but like the 5 color just didn't work very well. There wasn't like a great diversity of cards that were going to like complement it. So I decided to build a Tatiova deck. Classic, solid commander, 5-drop. Whenever a land control enters, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So we are going to just be trying to get a little bit of value. You know, like I said, this is designed basically for bracket 2. I mean, it could be considered like lower because it's very tempered, it's very mild, but it still does its thing. And this is the problem sometimes when you build decks, is like, no matter what you do, if you know how to build decks, like these decks just play. So we're playing, you know, bracket 2 games on Spell Table, and this deck is holding its own, having a good time, and capable of winning. So what do we got in the deck? We got creatures. We got a Llanowar Elves, a Spectral Sailor, a Mischievous Mystic. This card's hilarious. This is the one that shoots out creatures whenever you draw your second card. So once he's online, if he doesn't die, you just start making like infinite blockers basically over turns. Like you start drawing cards from Tatiova, you make another blocker, you have another fairy. So it's quite a fun card, very powerful in the deck. We got, so basically, like I said, the support within the box itself, you know, the cards were specifically set up, I guess, so that you could build decks out of it, right? So I used only cards from the Foundations box. So some of these cards are going to look like, oh, that's not great. You know, it's a 2/1, 2-drop with reach and death touch. But hey, it blocks. It can stop people from attacking you in the air. There you go. We got a Finn the Fangbear. So he actually complements that card, right? Because you can do a little bit of poison damage to people. You can scare them. Obviously, this isn't like the main plan, but like if people are taking poison damage with Finn out in the battlefield, problems. So Strix Lookout, a looter, you know. Like I said, we're just looking for useful creatures that do stuff. And the whole point is, in a blue-green deck, like you've got some ramp, you've got some, you know, we've got some card draw and stuff like that. So we just need to be able to stall the game out while we actually like develop a board and like start to become threatening. Gateway Sneak. We actually don't have any gates in here, I don't think. We might have a couple gates, I'm not sure. But maybe there's one. But basically, you've got 4 opponents, right? So if you play this card and they don't all have blockers, you attack the one that doesn't have a blocker and you draw a card. Ambush Wolf. I think I opened this one in there was like 3 booster packs that came with it. So this came out of the booster packs. Useful, you know. You can like flash it in and remove a card that somebody's targeting in their graveyard. We got the Fierce Empath, the tutor, so you can go get a large creature. We got a Burnished Heart for ramp, a Predator Ooze. This card's kind of funny. Indestructible. When the creature attacks, put a +1 counter on it. When the creature is dealt damage by the creature this turn dies, put a +1 counter on that creature. So it basically blocks anything that doesn't have trample or flying like forever. Springbloom Druid. So rampy. Mocking Sprite, cost reduction. Once you start like developing your mana and you get out there, you're going to be able to like multi-spell on turns, so that's fine. You want the cost reducer. The Trigon Predator, classic card. Whenever you deal damage, it destroys an artifact or enchantment that player controls, and it's a flyer, so you can get in there. The Wreck Sage. So the one cool thing about this set also is it had like some actual neat full art reprints of cards. So classic commander card, destroy an artifact or enchantment, and in a cool treatment. Got a Vizier of the Menagerie. Helps you like know what's going on at the top of your deck. Makes you like kind of gives you an extra card if you have a creature on top of your deck. This guy grows. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1 counter. Elvish Regrower. Get a card back to your hand, like a bad What's that card? I can't remember right now. Eternal Witness. And then we got the cool treatment of Gigantosaurus. So foil, full art, 10/10, banger. Need 5 green to cast it. You're not always going to cast it on turn 5, but you know, once it's down, especially if you're playing, like I said, like bracket 2, people panic about big things. Got a Voracious Great Shark, counters a spell. That's fun. People hate getting their spells countered, so it's going to be, you keep it kind of ready for a big thing that you really worry about. Shipwreck Dowser. This creature enters, it returns an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, just to get something back you might need. A Hero's Bane, it grows. A Curator of Destinies, can't be countered, and then you kind of get a little bit of cards added to your hand, so that's cool. Got an Arcanus the Omnipotent. This card draws cards. So we just want to make sure that we always have our threats like available, that we can keep deploying threats like big dumb ones, like a 12/8. We do have a Prime Speaker Zagana. So this card's pretty good. This card's going to draw you some cards. We have a Rampaging Balos. Remember, like I said, these were all in the Foundations kit. And this makes tokens, and it's great because we have lands, we draw cards, we make tokens. We got the Meteor Golem, it's a removal piece. The Palaka Worm, gain life, draw a card, trample, shiny. We got a Sphinx of the Final Word. This card, I love this card. Can't be countered, flying, hexproof, instant and sorcery spells you control can't be countered. So once he's out, if they don't kill him, which is kind of hard with the hexproof, he kind of insulates your game plan and lets you just carry on doing what you do. And then we have the big boy, the Darksteel Colossus. And yeah, trample, indestructible, and anti-mill. If he's in your library and you get him milled, then he will actually shuffle your library back into your or your graveyard back into your library and himself. So that's a good card. It's a game ender. But actually, a lot of the time, you're just insulating against people who like to play mill, which I'm sure there's plenty of that. Then we got some instants. We got Opt, Snakeskin Veil, Negate. See, a little bit of interaction, you know, never hurt anybody. Into the Royal. In case you need to get rid of something, we got a Fight spell. It's removal. We got some card draw. Counterspell, counterspell. It was funny because I played a couple of test games with this, and you know, we've only got a few counterspells, very few counterspells, but you actually don't need a lot all the time, especially in lower power games where people are not playing huge threats all the time. So like, you just need to counter certain key things. So that was quite funny. Like, I actually had to hold this up in one game, and somebody's like, "Oh, I'm sure you got a counterspell, but I got to play this card," and then I played this, and they were very sad. Flash Freeze, it's a narrow counterspell, but it was in the set, and there is a lot of red or green, right? So, like, why not? And if you need to get, you know, it's a dead card, then so be it. Broken Wings, Bushwhack, draw cards, ramp. Okay, this is kind of a finisher in this deck, which is sad in a way, but also funny and fun, because it is like an OG way of playing Commander, where you would just build a big board state and then cast Overrun. So that's like a game finisher. We got a River's Rebuke in case somebody's super mega scary and you got to try and set them back. We got a Finale of Revelation. I think this card was like 10 or 15 bucks before the reprint in this set, but this, I was sad because in the test games I never casted it for 10, but I cast it for like 7 and it's still like a ton of cards. So there you go. But casting it for 10 or more is huge. And then we also have Primal Might, which is another way to, like, if you have a ton of mana, you can probably like one-shot a player that's like on a lower life total or something like that. And it also is a fight spell, so you can get rid of something big and then swing through. And then we have the Foil Soul Ring, which, like I said, there was a Foil Soul Ring, a Foil Arcane Signet, and a Foil Command Tower, and that inspired me to say, okay, well, let's build a Commander deck out of this. And there's the Foil Arcane Signet, which I love the foily artifacts. And we got a Soul Guide Lantern for Graveyard Hate. This also came in the box. It was a Swiftfoot Boots alternate art, full art, so that's pretty cool. Classic Commander card. We got the Hedron Archive in foil as well, so some more ramp. We got the Foil Gilded Lotus, which is also beautiful, and some more ramp. We got a Garruk's Uprising, which will help you like draw cards and gives your creatures trample, so it's like a mid to late game is going to actually help you like keep progressing your game plan. All right, some enchantments. We got a Dictative Crucifix. This one, if you have it in your hand, you don't want to play it on your turn. You want to obviously wait until before your next turn starts and then cast it. That way you're the first player to draw the extra card off of it. Confiscate is a foil, right? Yeah, foil Confiscate. That's going to like steal a big creature. And a Primal Bounty. This card is value. See, whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3+1/+1 counters on target creature you control. And whenever you land you control enters, gain 3 life. This card's fun. In a deck like this, where you're kind of like just trying to make the game go a little longer, you know, help like develop your board, look for a big kill, this card's great. And then we're into our lands. So a lot of basics. And yeah, blue and green, just like Tatiova once. And then a couple of other cards that came in here. There's the foil Command Tower, pretty. And a Temple of Mystery, because we did get the Temple Cycle in the deck, in the box as well. So that's cool. These aren't really worth anything these days, but it's a useful card, especially in like slower games. We got the Thornwood Falls, the Simic Guildgate. There's your one gate, so your Gateway Sneak will get through one time on that, if you play it after. And then we got 3 cards, we got Evolving Wilds to search for a land, Demolition Field to get rid of a really scary land, and Cryptic Caves in case you stall out, just to draw an extra card. So there you go. That is the Tatiova deck. And that, like I said, the bundle was like $45. The sleeves are worth $10. And obviously there is time and effort put into building the deck and stuff like that. But it's a cool deck. It's super fun. I think it's for sale for $50 on the eBay site. So that is deck number 1. This is our cheapest, least powerful, but sort of entry-level deck, and it does lots of cool things, and it is worth what it costs. So definitely a good little deck for anybody who's looking to start playing Magic, especially like on a fun level with their friends, like a Sunday afternoon kind of setup. All right, I got to go faster, but all these decks are interesting, right? Or they have stuff going on. So deck number 2, this is in ascending value order. This deck is going for $100. And this is Kaikar, the Wind Fury. And this is a classic kind of Kaikar build. But the thing is like, this is a great deck. It's like super, I don't want to say it's super powerful in the sense that you're just going to obviously like chomp down on high bracket 3 and bracket 4 decks. But I did notice from playing people who claim that their decks are bracket 3 and bracket 4, they're really actually underpowered compared to what I'm expecting. So when you play decks like this, you know, you kind of take your time and chill, and you can do so much. So we got Kaikar, who, sorry, let me read it real quick. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and then you can sacrifice a spirit to add red mana. So cool little ritual, starts like helping you make more mana. And really, like I said, this deck isn't doing anything crazy. We're not like a combo deck. We are just playing Jeskai, Kaikar, creatures that poop out other creatures, and we're going to just try and control the board state a little bit, and then just, you know, eventually kill our opponents with damage. Nothing flashy, nothing huge. We don't want to piss anybody off too much. But like I said, you can probably easily take this into bracket 3 and have a good time. So let's look at the lands. And the lands are basics, basics, basics. Lots of good ones, all the pretty full arts. And then we have Evolving Wilds, Vibrant Cityscape, and Terramorphic Expanse, all the same card basically, help you find the colors you need. We got the Terminal Moraine. So this one also will like help you do that, but these ones don't actually tap for mana, whereas this guy will tap for colorless. So you can actually wait to use it until you really need to use it, or just like a later turn when you're not doing anything. There you go. Mystic Monastery, the classic Jeskai land, the Command Tower, and then we have all the temples that matter, all the guild gates that matter, and all the gain lifelands that matter, plus a Desolate Lighthouse. Just so at a certain point in the game, when you've got creatures that say when you draw your second card each turn, you can make a token, this will help you do that. All right, those are the lands. Now we have the artifacts. The artifacts in this deck are kind of funny because we have the Soul Ring, we have the Arcane Signet, and we have the Command Sphere, the classic 3. The Command Sphere is actually good in this deck because, again, at a certain point you won't need the mana, but you will want to draw a card. And that is why we have the Locket Cycle, which is actually, for 3 mana, to play the Locket isn't that big of a deal. It fixes your colors, but again, later in the game, you're going to actually want to use mana when you don't have a lot going on to just sack them and draw cards. And it's actually fun to have a Locket Cycle in a deck, and I actually do like playing. This deck's super fun to play with as well. So there's your artifacts. Then we got 2 Planeswalkers. Saheeli poops out tokens, which is kind of the point of the deck, and then Dovin, which I have not had a lot of opportunities to put Dovin in decks. But if you read his abilities, +1, until end of turn, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may put a loyalty counter on Dovin Grand Arbiter. Or actually, you don't may, you just do it. So he comes in as a 3, you plus him to a 4. Then you attack. And as long as he has, like, as long as you got 3 creatures that can connect, you're going to be able to ultimate the next turn. And if you have more than 3, then you actually don't lose Dovin. So look at the top 10 cards of your library, put 3 of them in your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Super cool, right? Like, you get like major card selection and just fill your hand up. And then, of course, the -1, if you need to use it, make a token, which we love, and gain life. So, cool. Both 3-drop Planeswalkers, really useful. And then we got a couple of enchantments here. Let's see. Yep, we got 3 enchantments. We have Firemind's Research. This is a great card. Again, when you're playing slower games, lower brackets, I mean, even like I said, bracket 3, I am amazed at what people think bracket 3 is, but hey, there you go. So Firemind's Research, you put counters on it, and then you can remove counters to draw cards and to like deal damage if you have to. And I love this card. This card's super fun and super useful sometimes. We got a Quicksilver Dagger. Enchant a creature. Now, enchant creatures are kind of annoying because, like, if you lose the creature, you lose the enchantment. But at the end of the day, you could throw it into something that has, you just want to be able to draw some cards, right? So, enchanted creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to a player or planeswalker. You draw a card. If this sits around for a few turns and draws 3 or 4 cards, boom, you've got mega value out of it. And then we have a reconnaissance mission, which has cycling, but you're probably never going to cycle it unless you're desperate. But you really just want to cast it, and then whenever a creature you control does damage to a player, you may draw a card. And it's May, so you can attack with 10 creatures. You don't want to draw 10 cards. You can draw 4, 5, 6, whatever you want. Now, what do we got here? We got some sorceries. Cards that basically draw cards and are like efficient. So we got a Serum Visions. We got a Suplex. Suplex is very good. In games where people have like destructible things. Now you saw like in my Tatiova deck, there is the Darksteel Colossus. Well, this would exile the Darksteel Colossus. So even in lower power games, there are going to be targets. You can just get rid of like whatever artifact is annoying, but there are going to be targets that sometimes you just really need to get rid of, and this will do the whole job, right? We got a Deafening Clarion. If we're behind on board, we wipe out all the small creatures. If we're ahead on board, we can gain life. And we got to clear the mind, which is super important because when you're playing a Spellslinger deck, you're going to kind of like flick through your deck a lot, and you're going to draw a lot of cards and stuff. So at a certain point, and even if you get milled a little bit, you're going to be able to just reset your graveyard into your library and draw a card. Citywide Bust. Like, all of our creatures are quite small. I think there's a couple of creatures that might die to this that are in our deck. I'll show you in a little bit. But for the most part, you can cast this and blow out a big dumb creature board without hurting us. We got a Port with the Pages, draw cards, untap lands, discard a card. It's good, it's fun, you can do stuff with it. Uggin's Insight. This is an old card, but I still think it's great. Like, you get to scry X and then like look at a bunch and then put them where you need to put them and then draw 3 cards. We got a Brainstorm. It's also going to draw some cards. We're now into the instance. This is, I think I put more interaction in this deck than your sort of standard basic deck because really you do want to be able to sit back and make sure you're taking care of threats while you just sort of develop your board and chip away at people. So we got the classic Path to Exile, the classic Lightning Bolt, the classic Swords to Plowshares, and then Dispel, Opt, Preordain. This is more draw. I mean, this is a great card. I think this card is underplayed. Wear Tear, I see it sometimes, but you can cast one or both. So, hey, great card. Counterspell. Boros Charm will give your stuff indestructible. This is like a blowout when people try and do a board wipe. It actually like can protect your things. So that's mostly what you're going to use it for, kind of like a heroic intervention. We have Counterspell, Disdainful Stroke, Anabrade as well, Essence Scatter, Negate. These are all counterspells to like help keep the board calm so you can survive and do the things you need to do. Pull from Tomorrow. Once you've got a lot of mana, draw a ton of cards. More counterspells. Now this one's fun because you might run into players who are playing Aetherize, right? Or the white one, Settle the Wreckage. So when you attack, and obviously second main phase after you've attacked, now this is a 1 mana counter anything spell. And that people will think maybe you don't look like you've got enough mana to cast it when you don't have a counter spell when you attack. This is a great gotcha. And at the same time, it's always super flexible. It's a 3 mana counter anything anyway. Draw more cards, kill more things. We have our own Aetherize. We have an Ogitize command, which is a super fun card. Just choose 2. I like modal cards, especially when they give you like maximum options. And returning the creatures with mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield is relevant in this deck. So is countering creatures, so is drawing a card. Gain life is the only one that doesn't really matter to us. We've got an overwhelming denial. This card's amazing. It's actually counterspell that can't be countered most of the time, because you're going to cast something, and then somebody's going to cast something back, and then you're going to fire this at them, and they're going to have to eat shit. Got dismiss, counterspell, draw a card. This is a good 2-card draw because you can cycle it, so if you're just looking for stuff early and you need to, you can do that. Chemist's Insight, you can cast it twice. Arcane Epiphany, a lot of our creatures are wizards, especially in our commander, so you're going to get to draw a lot of cards. School Days, this is a new one. This is super fun. You can draw cards or counter a spell, so just depending on what you need. Precognitive Perception has the addendum, which obviously, you can cast on your main phase. You're going to do that a lot with some of your creatures that want to draw more cards on each turn or whatever. So you get to scry 3 and draw 3 cards. Pretty good. And then Opportunity, target player draws 4 cards, and that's at instant speed. It costs 6 mana, but like I said, the games are kind of slower at all the lower brackets, basically anything below 5. And this card is super fun and gives you a lot of cards. So there's our instants and sorceries for our card draw and our interaction. And then now our creature package, which basically we want to make tokens. So some of these are proactive token makers, and some of these are reactive token makers, and some of these are conditional token makers. But the fun part is that you're going to be doing a lot of different stuff, and people aren't always going to know like what the best threat is or how to deal with it. So for example, the Dragon Master Outcast, you have to have 6 or more lands to make the dragon. But once you play it with 6 or more lands, people are going to be panicking, right? And if they don't kill it, you just start making dragons, which is fun. We got a Mischievous Mystic. This card, obviously, we love this card. Balmor, Battle Mage Captain. Doesn't make tokens, but once you have him set up, or once you have a board full of tokens, then you play him, cast a couple spells, and he gives everything trample and +1/+0 for every instant and sorcery. So just the 1 to give everything trample might be enough sometimes, just a little buff. We got a Goblin Electromancer. This is going to be your cost reducer. Third Path Iconoclast. This guy's great. Poops out soldiers. Young Pyromancer. Poops out elementals. Mentor of the Meek. Helps you draw cards, because whenever one of your little tokens comes in, you can just pay 2 and draw a card. Or sorry, pay 1 and draw a card if you want to. Useful. Jorian draws you the extra cards whenever you cast your second spell each turn. And that's each turn. So if you happen to cast 2 spells on an opponent's turn, draw a card. Monstrary Mentor, probably the best pooper in the deck. Makes the... Anytime you cast a non-creature spell, so not even instants and sorcery, just non-creature, you get to poop out a token. He has prowess, his tokens have prowess. This card is fun. A Myria Angel. This one is a landfall trigger that makes the birds, so you want to get it out early. Just start making birds as you go. Good card, also 3/3 flyer. And we got a Laundra. This one took me a while to find. This says whenever you draw your second card each turn, make a Drake. And then when you draw your 5th card each turn, she gets +X until end of turn, and the Drakes do, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So I don't know how often that's going to be super relevant, but I wanted this card, like a Talran, to make sure that you're just making a lot of Drakes. 2/2 flyers are powerful and useful, and if you have a lot of them, they're problematic for your opponents. Got the Archmage Emeritus. Every time you cast an instant or sorcery, or whenever you cast or copy, draw a card. Just a little engine. Tarland, the classic, makes the Drakes as well. I guess Alondra is kind of the upgrade. She wants you to draw cards, he wants you to cast spells. They work quite well together. The Murmuring Mystic makes the little bluebird illusions. I love this guy. Got a Fairy Formation. Now this one is a mana sink, so when you get bored or when you have not a lot to do, or for some reason you're a bit stalled out, you can at least pay for, make a fairy, and draw a card. So that's a good little effect. The Locust God, the Beast himself. This could have been a commander on his own, like a red-blue deck, but we wanted the white. He's super fun anyway, and obviously very powerful. Charmbreaker Devils basically returns an instant or sorcery to your hand at the beginning of every upkeep. So as long as game keeps going, you're going to keep getting cards back. That's very helpful. And an Ovika Enigma Goliath, which makes the Phyrexian Goblins. I do have one of each token for this deck. So if you buy this deck, you do get one of each token, and then you just use basically like a Space Saver or something like that as a second token. So you show your tap tokens, and then you have your main token as your untapped tokens or something like that. So Getting one of each token is fine. Sometimes they're hard to find, but I did put together one of each token to make sure this deck has all the pieces it needs. So that is the Kaikar tokens kind of Jeskai mid-range control-y fun deck. So that's that guy. What else do we got here? So like I said, we're going up in value. That one is $100. We did build out of the well, it's like $160 retail right now, but I did get this set, the Assbender, the Avatar: The Last Airbender Commander bundle for $120. I did have to get like a couple extra bits and pieces to like make sure it worked all properly, but every card in here was from what I opened in the Commander bundle, like the packs and the collector booster, right? So, but this also comes, like, unlike the other ones, this comes with the foil box. This comes with obviously sleeves. I put new sleeves on every deck, and because there's space, you get like the little sleeve box because there's like 1 or 2 extra sleeves in there. But the other decks just have their spare sleeves sit next to them. And in the Commander set with the Avatar, you get the Avatar life spin down. So I made sure that was in there as well, because that's like, you know, the full complement. And we did open in the collector booster Avatar Aang, and it is a flipper. And there you go, Aang, Master of Elements. Beautiful card. So even though he's a WooBird commander, he has like 5 colors. Like, I did decide to go basically not black with this deck. And on top of that, it is also basically not red. Like, there is some red in it, but it is mostly a Bant deck. And that is because it just functions smoother that way. Now this one, I did have to buy more cards. I used cards from inside of it, but there wasn't quite enough support to do even like the main basic stuff. I thought this deck would probably be a bracket 2. It probably plays more like a 2.5 to 3, depending on what cards you have out, because some of the creatures in this are like kind of busted and make Aang go crazy, and we'll have a look at that now. So first of all, we got the lands. Let me get my lands here for you. Okay. Oh, slippery. The new sleeves are like super slippery. I only played like 2 games with this deck because I don't want to mess the sleeves up. So we got the planes. So basically, here's how it works. Like I said, mostly if I opened the cards and I needed the cards, they went in here, but I had to go buy some more cards. So even though we spent $120 on the package plus tax on the box, we also bought sleeves. We bought about $15 worth of extra cards to go in here just to make sure that the deck was like super functional and fun. But if you see a foil, it's because I opened a foil, unless I bought the card specifically. But like the lands, all the lands are like lands that I opened. So foil land, foil basic, or foil full art, or basic, right? So we've got like a bunch of basics. Basically, like I said, it's like you get random foils in here. And it's up to you to upgrade, you know what I mean? If you like foils, if you don't, if you want to make them all match, if you don't, it's up to you. And then we've got, so it's like this, for example, I had to finish this cycle in the colors that we were using. So I bought like North Pole Gates, and I bought, I think I bought Sunless Peak. But anyway, we got the 5 draw card lands that you need that come with it. And like I said, every card in this deck is from the Avatar set. And so we got the Heath cycle, and we got the Rumble Arena, but I did have to go buy, for the deck, a Jasmine Tea Shop. And like I said, Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. And if I can buy a foil, I'm going to buy a foil. So this was like 75 cents for the regular and like $1 for the foil. So you get the foil because it's just that shiny and beautiful. All right, into the creatures. Now, the creatures also, I wanted to stay on theme. So I didn't just put all the creatures in here. I put in specifically only allies. So our creatures are just allies, and to be kind of flavorful. So I did have to go buy a few extras of these as well, but like I opened Momo, right? I think I opened Momo. I definitely opened this Momo. I bought this Grand for the deck because I didn't open a Grand. I just thought, oh, okay, that was like $2, but I was like, that's very cool, like the promo Grand. So yeah, we had to buy the Great Divide Guide. So there you go, you get a foil Great Divide Guide. And like I said, all allies. This guy pissed somebody off the other day when I killed his mirror box with it. And all of these cards are very useful and do little things, but I tried to, I cut the least powerful allies. There is a glider kids in here. But I try to upgrade the allies as much as possible so they did better things than just sit there and look like an ally. But we do, unfortunately, still have a glider kids in here. This Momo's funny, and you can airbend it and blink it and stuff, so you can start destroying things. I had to buy this Katara, so you got foil. And I had to buy this Katara. If a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. When Aang goes to combat and you attack, he triggers firebending. So he triggers it a second time. So instead of firebending 2, you get 4. But you get 2 instances of it. Whenever Aang has an instance of bending triggered, he draws a card. That's a trigger. So you get firebending, trigger, draw a card, trigger, draw a card. Firebending again, trigger, draw a card, trigger, draw a card. This card makes the deck seem super, super scary. So once you play this card, you might become enemy number 1. And then like basic allies, like guys that do things. We got the foil Sun Warriors. They poop out allies. That's great. Hakoda, he keeps you kind of insulated. We got a U. We did open a full art Toph. That's pretty cool. We opened a Blue Spirit. I did go through a couple of packs of Jumpstarts. So you're going to also get some Jumpstart cards added to this, which are very fun. We got the Sokka. He gives everybody menace and prowess. It's a little ridiculous. And he poops out tokens. Earth King, more useful allies, Master Pianado. I'm not sure how all these cards are said. I was not a fan of Avatar, but there you go. This one I had to buy. This is Katara, Water Tribe's Hope. All the Kataras we had to buy, basically. She is a way to activate or water bending very easily for Aang, but also this card, if you have a big board state and like 10 mana, you kind of just blow everybody out because you just make everything huge. This is the Appa we opened, not a mythic, but still fun and has the abilities. And the thing is we do have an enchantment in the deck that can start flickering creatures at end of turn or something like that. So you do get to airbend a lot in this deck when you want to, like later in the game. And we got a Boomy. So those are our allies. And then we're going to go through our little instance. This is an Enter the Avatar state. Octopus form. These are just protection spells. Yip, because you want to keep Aang alive, and people will try and kill Aang. Got a beautiful foil firebending lesson. Origin of metal bending. Accumulate wisdom. I had to buy this. It wasn't in the 9 packs plus collector booster I opened. Or any of the frickin' jumpstart shit that I opened. Got to quench you. So all of the spells are lessons. This helps Grand go. This stays on flavor. And it's just fun. Like I said, this deck isn't meant to be super powerful, but it actually plays pretty well. You can build big board states. You can rebuild pretty quickly. So here is the first of the special commander cards that we opened when we opened the commander pack that came with it. This card actually gives quite a lot of value to the deck. It's worth like $25, something like that. And it's super powerful. So when you've developed a board, if you've got this in your hand and you've got Aang out, you get to keep everything alive while everybody else loses everything when somebody tries to board wipe. So great card, very powerful. Lucky to open that, fun to have. Got some more lessons. So when I say every card is a lesson, I mean but the ones that I opened that were the high value cards that were part of the commander bundle. Because here's the other one, Gamble, which is hilarious because the deck is just not that powerful. But on flavor, on theme, it's a Avatar card reprint, and it's very cool and a fun card to play with. So anybody who's playing like lower bracket stuff, the fact that you can have this tutor in your deck is going to be fun. It's probably going to give you a little bit of a gateway drug feeling once you start tutoring and not lose. The worst part about Gamble, obviously everybody knows, you gamble, you discard, you always discard the card you gambled for. But when you don't, this card feels amazing. Foil Seismic Sense. So more lessons, more lessons. We've got like water bending, earth bending. We're just trying to like activate Aang and get like the extra card draws. Now we have the artifacts that came with the commander bundle as well. These are like slightly more valuable than their normal versions because they're Avatar art and people want them. So we have the Soul Ring, the Arcane Signet, and the Swiftfoot Boots. And then we got a few enchantments. This one came with it. This one I had to buy, so guess what? Foil. A Coastal Piracy, as you can see, came from my Jumpstart packs. But whenever a creature you control deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. Great card. And a Master's Guidance, which also can help you draw cards and put creatures on things. Creatures, counters. Can't talk. So there you go. There is the Avatar Aang Commander Bundle deck that I built. And this is available on the eBay for $150. So extremely fair price, especially considering I had to buy extra pieces to add to it. And it is definitely worth at least that value. Plus the sleeves, plus the box, plus the spin down. Link will be below on how to get to that eBay site. Okay, and finally today I want to talk about an old pet deck that I rebuilt to sell. And this is... There she is. Oh, ours behind. This is Nissa Vastwoodseer. Now, people might not think this is super exciting, and it depends on if you like ramp and big dumb stuff, but we are not just playing big dumb stuff, obviously. We're ramping into some powerful things, and obviously they can be very powerful when you're playing this deck. If you're not playing against very powerful opponents, this deck can seem overwhelming. And when I built this deck to sell, I didn't build it at its full power level, and I certainly that helps reduce the cost. This deck is selling for $150. But the whole point is, if I could have put $50 worth of creatures in this deck to replace worse creatures, and it would be extremely oppressive, which is, hey, it's up to you. The decks I build them so that they function well, so that they're fun to play with, but I certainly try and leave room for the person who buys the deck to do their own thing with it. So you have a really strong core, a really strong skeleton, and it's up to you on how you want to flesh it out. This deck will perform extremely well all the way up to 3.5 against multiple opponents doing lots of things. It builds its board fast, it rebuilds its board fast, it's really hard to get rid of, and if they don't try and kill you, you will win with this deck. So, why? Because Nissa, who was a flip planeswalker, or a flip creature, turns into this planeswalker, and first of all, when you cast her, you go search for a forest. Second of all, once you play your 7th land, it will trigger her to flip, which you do very quickly in this deck. Now, what she does is she's card advantage and /ramp. Her +1 there, which you're going to do over and over and over, is to reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land, put it in the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So you get a card most of the time. You get a land some of the time. The land comes in untapped. It's an amazing card. Also, when you're ready to win, if she's still out there and you've been plussing away, her -7, untap up to 6 target lands. They become 6/6 elemental creatures. They're still lands. That doesn't say until end of turn, although usually when you do this, you're going to kill the whole table because your board is such that you're able to spread the damage out and attack all 3 opponents at once. So, that's Nissa. Nissa is your little engine just to make sure you never miss a land drop. You cast her on turn 2 or 3, and then you just start going from there. You can let her die over and over and over because you don't need her until you're about to drop your 7th land to flip her, right? But like I said, that happens pretty quick. So, lands. Let's see here. We'll move this back out again so I can show you guys. And where's my lands in? Okay. So this is a very simple land package. She wants mostly forests, mostly basics. So we've got all the forests, all the beautiful, beautiful forests. There you go. We have a waste because we need to be able to cast with colorless. And we are going to have other ways to do that, but we need at least one searchable to make it easier. We could put more in. That's up to the builder once they start playing with it. This is a Tranquil Thicket. You really don't want tap lands in this deck, but if you draw this card later in the game, you can easily cycle with it. It just becomes draw card. We have Ash Barrens, another card that taps for colorless. It's got basic land cycling, so for some reason you need a forest, you can go get one, but mostly you're using this as another activator for your colorless symbols. We got a Field of Ruin, double duty, if you come up against somebody playing powerful lands. Same with the Ghost Quarter. And then we have a Cryptic Caves for late game when you just need to look at more cards. We got a Seagate Wreckage in case it's really bad and you have no cards in your hand. You can actually draw cards with Seagate Wreckage, so that's great. We got a Myriad Landscape. That's a ramp land, but it also taps colorless if you need it to. We got a Blighted Woodland. That's a ramp land, but it also taps colorless if you need it to. And we got a Temple of the False God, which taps double colorless, which sometimes you need. So, basic lands, cool lands, useful lands. There are more great lands you could put in here. And like I said, if you do buy this deck, and if you do want to upgrade this deck to like the full complement of Titans, you're going to want a couple more utility lands in the deck, but they are not that expensive, and that's going to be, like I said, up to the play pattern and the play style that you want to embrace. So, because this deck is not meant to be, as like I said, as oppressive as it was when I was playing with it, like 13 years ago, I put in a Nissa package. So you can actually be sort of on theme and on flavor and just play a bunch of Nissas. Now, that doesn't mean you're getting shitty Nissas. This Nissa is busted, right? Like, you can draw cards, you can make these big elementals, and you can, like, basically get permanents out of your graveyard. This card is amazing. Oh, look, another busted Nissa. Whenever you tap a forest for mana, add an additional green. I mean, that's basically all you need her to do. See that text underneath there? Who fucking cares? And then we got Nissa Voice of Zendikar. This is your little token producer. You can get this one out early. You can start making plants. Believe me, at a certain point in the game, if they haven't wiped the board, and even if they have multiple times, you've got so many ways to keep building your board out. You're just going to end up doing like some sort of overrun at some point, usually, and killing everybody. And then we got Phyrexian Nissa. I can't even remember what this says. The +1 is like, make an elemental with power and toughness equal to the amount of loyalty on Nissa. So it's going to be like an 8/8 to start with. You make like an 8/8 token. Hold on a second. I should have like basically pulled this up before. Nissa. Is this Sage? No. Which one is this? Can't remember what she's called. Nissa Phyrexian. There we go. That'll get me there quicker. Nissa Ascended Animist. This is the English version of what we are reading in Phyrexian. And what does she say? Watch me pull up a... Oh, no, I pulled up a Phyrexian one. Good job, me. I'm so smart. It's hard to see these little pictures. There we go. That's got to be good. Okay. Destroy target artifact or enchantment is the -1. Super, super relevant, useful. And -7, until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 for each forest you control and gain trample. So again, we have a lot of ways to like kind of overrun, or we got a few ways, but developing the board out, we're just going to overrun a bunch of things and crush them all. And again, these cards are not even like that necessary. They're fun and they're powerful and they'll make the deck like tasty and flavorful. But at the end of the day, there's all sorts of cards in here that you could just pull out and put in like some insane stuff. So we got the Soul Ring, the Mind Stone, the Star Compass. This is just basic ramp for the deck, just to make sure you keep going up and up and up. And the last two, the Hedron Archive and the Dreamstone Hedron, they allow you to like draw extra cards when you run out of stuff to do. Lifecrafter's Bestiary, same thing. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1 whenever you cast a creature spell. You may pay green if you do draw a card. So a little card draw engine. Once, it's kind of hard to just say, oh, look, it's a ramp deck. It makes a lot of mana. You will have a metric shit ton of mana to play with. And it's none of it's like fake mana. None of it's dorks. We don't have any dorks in here like that. Like, your mana is your lands. You're going to put so many lands on the board. People are going to be pissed off. Now we got a Damping Sphere. Guess what? None of our lands are going to really be affected by this. And because we have so much mana and we have big spells, we're going to be casting 1, 2, or 3 spells a turn. And this also isn't really going to affect us. But our opponents are going to hate this thing. This card helps you draw cards. This card is stupid. Even in the most powerful version of the deck, I ran this card. This card says creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. So that protects Nissa from anything swinging in from above once you flipped her. And then it also makes worms at the beginning of your end step. So it just starts pooping out creatures, and that's very useful. Now, we have a little bit of interaction and quite a few ramp spells. So we got Rampant Growth, Cultivate, all the classics. Kodama's Reach. The reason we want the ones that get the extra card into your hand is so that way you can have that forest or just the land drop to make sure that you can flip your Nissa at later turns. You want the extra land in your hand to make sure you can flip her. Got a Beneath the Sands. This is a good one because if you don't need to ramp anymore later in the game, you can just cycle it. Nissa's Pilgrimage, another, I love this one. It's a Friday night like Magic promo. But also can get you 2 or 3 forests, and then, or base, yeah, forests. And you're still going to put one into play, but then you get like the extra ones in your hand. Grow from the Ashes, probably the best 3-mana ramp spell, because if you can kick it, you get 2 lands instead of 1, and they come in untapped. Then we got the classic Explosive Vegetation. We do want the 2 mana, or the 2 into play spell. Sky Shroud Claim does the same thing. There's other versions of these. There's like Migration Path and Circuitous Route and stuff, but I just went with the classics. Then we got Rishkar's Expertise. When I cast this last, I had an 18 power creature on the board. And somebody goes, oh, I can't let you draw 18 cards. So they killed it. So I had to only draw 7 cards because that was my next biggest creature. If that tells you anything about the way this deck functions. In case it doesn't seem to be functioning, we have the little 1-drop, Abundant Harvest, and the Traverse the Ulamwald, which late game, this will just go get you the creature you want. A Gaia's Blessing, because I don't have the Colossus or any of the big Eldrazi that are like going to shuffle your deck back in, so this card replaces those for now. In case you decide you want to play Eldrazi, boom, take this out. Suddenly you've got the shuffle Eldrazi's in your deck. Acid Moss, great way to get rid of a powerful land and ramp. Primal Command. Beast Within, the classic. Crows and Grip, the classic. The thing is people go, well, there's kind of better versions of these spells now. Not necessarily, and like, you still want to do the things that the deck does without like sullying it with too much interaction. So we have like the classic standby effective spells, Nature's Claim, and an Obscuring Haze. Now, I didn't have this card in my deck when I was playing, but this actually is a great card. And now, the creatures. This will be one of the first things you take out when you put in your next bigger creature, because we don't really want any ramp on the board that can be removed. We just want to keep getting lands. But it's a classic, Elvish Mystic, little dorky guy. Scavenging Ooze helps control graveyards, especially like mid to late game when you got a ton of mana. Steelbane Hydra. This one's kind of easily replaceable. We have a lot of effects that like destroy things, but like late game, you can just cast this guy for like a bunch and literally on the same turn just destroy a bunch of different random artifacts and enchantments. Ewit, Courser, Manglehorn, Fierce Empath. He is your favorite card because he gets your favorite card. And then classic Mana Gorger, another creature I'm happy to remove pretty quickly when I'm putting other stuff in, but especially like friendly games, this card just gets out of control and it's fun to play with. Rex Sage, Timeless Witness, Solemn, Slime, more cards easily replaceable. This one you want to keep. Keeper of Fables. Whenever one or more non-human creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. 3 opponents, try and draw 3 cards. A lot of our stuff is big and has trample. Soul of Zendikar, kind of a mana sink later game. You can just start making tokens if you don't have a lot to do. The Emerald Dragon, you really have it for its other ability. Counter target, activate, or triggered ability from a non-creature source. Sometimes that might save you. This was the 18/18 that they wouldn't let me draw 18 cards for. So there you go. Ulamwald Hydra, fucking love you, buddy. Green Warden, a really big Ewit. And he does it twice. Deadwood Treefolk. Enters, leaves the battlefield, return another target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Vanishing, enters or leaves, you're going to get 2 creatures from your graveyard. What kind of creatures might we be getting? The problem is, the more Eldrazi you play, the more people just don't want to play with you. So this is a really fun deck to bring to play against strangers who are all going to be doing their thing. Then you don't feel so bad. But this is one of those decks that if it's kind of optimized, people are going to struggle to enjoy playing games with you. And that's where you have to figure out, do I go away from the Eldrazi or do I go fully into them? Because they are bonkers. Fight Elephant. New edition, Colosseum Behemoth. Useful. Hilarious. Virgin Sun's avatar. In case you are a little low on life while you've been doing all your setting up, every creature you play, you gain life equal to its toughness, including him. Speaking of gaining life, the classic. Oh dear, the Eldrazi. Yeah, people don't like these. This card's fucking amazing. And a new guy helping us out. Verdant Force. This card is great in 4-player formats because you get a sapling on every upkeep and helps you develop a board that you can overrun your opponents with. Woodfall Primus. All right, we're going to put this to the side and talk about it in a second. Terrastodon, non-creature permanents. So when you ramp this guy out, you can literally blow up somebody's lands. They get elephants. You're not going to care about 3/3s. But you can set them back to the Stone Age. This card is dumb. Okay, we got a Foe Runners. This is one of our overrun effects. And we have a Decimator. This is our other overrun effect. Now, pay no mind to the Kozilek behind the Decimator. This is a Woodfall Primus with Persist. When it enters, you destroy a non-creature permanent. Then, when you're setting your board up to kill everybody, you can emerge it with the Decimator. It will sacrifice it. It will reduce the cost of the Decimator. Then this will return from Persist and destroy another thing while you pump your board. This is exactly the example of how I've powered the deck down. You really want distorted, was it Kozilek, the distorted reality or something like that? The Great Distortion. This card's great and powerful and does cool things. But this is keeping things gentle because the next card just always pisses everybody off and they hate it so much. But the problem is I love it so much. And really in a game where you have 3 opponents, it's only affecting 1 opponent at a time. But they just hate it. But ever since I got into Magic, this was the first set that was released when I got into Magic, and all I've ever really wanted to do was cast Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. And it all seems like fun and games until you actually attack somebody. And then they have to exile the top 20 of their library. And they hate that, and that's okay, because I enjoy it, and I like to watch that suffering a little bit. But yeah, so there you go. Extra sleeve. This is Nissa, who heralds the Eldrazi. And even though there's only like 5, 6, 7 Eldrazi in here, something like that, there is room for at least 3 or 4 more. If I put them in, the deck would cost like another $100, $150, but it would be bonkers. It's already bonkers. And so yeah, go check out the eBay. This is out there for $150. This deck is one of the most fun decks to play with. And an actual player said to me the last time I played with it, this exact version, that is the most powerful green deck I've ever seen. I cannot believe how consistent it was. And I was like, well, this was my baby. This has been my baby for as long as I've been playing Magic. And now I want to share it with the world. So there you go. Go check out the eBay. Make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. And I will see you guys in the next one soon. And thank you for watching. Love you. See you guys later.